Unusually for me, I've taken to the indoors this time, and I'm in the flat at Arrow Park. Out the window here you can see the hospital. Well, I can, don't know if you can. It's a reasonable day today, but a couple of days ago I was over there with the camera getting some medicine from the pharmacy, and it was a really nice sunny day. Now the thing about being here, I can see it now, is there are buses going through that area right in front of us all the time. Another one just coming through the lights now. It's a 472 going to Haswell, and so it goes on. There are buses all the time, so any one time when you're over there waiting for a bus, there will be 2 or 3 at least, sometimes 4 or 5, although if it gets that many, they don't know where to put them all. Anyway, you can see here for yourself what it was like that day, and also how we're full of trees everywhere. Now they say some of the healthiest areas in the country, where you have fewer health problems generally, are where there are lots of trees. Well, we've got lots of trees all around us here, so we're pleased about that. Let's turn now to Birkenhead, because Birkenhead is our local biggest town, and it's undergoing a lot of redevelopment. It's a bit of a mess at the moment, to be fair. But there's a company called the Wirral Growth Company who are trying to do something about it. And I took these pictures of the office quarter. They're creating a new central business district. What we found out when we were in Australia, that is generally called the CBD. Most people know what that means apparently. I didn't. I thought it was some kind of cannabis oil. The 2 buildings that we're showing here are significant. They're the names of 2 people who climbed Everest in 1924. So next year it'll be 100 years since they had that trip up Everest. The council themselves intend to move into part of these buildings, and the other part, if you're interested in taking space there, you'll find them on Rightmove, and for about 36,000 a year you can rent yourself an office space in Birkenhead. Now the council obviously are living somewhere else at the moment with their various enterprises, and that building is called the Cheshire Lines building. Well, I don't know if you can guess, but that has a railway history. That's another story we can look into another time. But in 2024 the council will be moving all the stuff that's in the Cheshire Lines building into these new buildings in the CBD. And the area that the buildings are in is called Alice Kerr Square. Alice Kerr, look her up, she's now got a square named after her, with the 2 buildings sitting there named after the 2 climbers of Everest. Now let's move on. I told you once before, a friend of mine in Derby gave me one of these Pocket 2 cameras. Today I'm using my original one and the one he gave me. 2 cameras working, such luxury. And of course you'll have noticed that I'm in my own home. I had a recent trip down to Derby again to pick up a few more accessories that Bob had found, and I shall be using those and trying to sort everything out in due course. I now have lots of little accessories, wires, cables, adapters, you name it, and I'm trying to sort them into little compartments so I can find them easily. The visit to the Tutbury and Hatton station was another train ride for me, you know I like that, and from there Bob took me to lunch at a shack, basically. Really was a shack. This is some pictures as we were just leaving, having had a great homemade lunch. Homemade pies, great. And this is called the Quirky Shack. Details are on the sign, you can see through Bob's window there. One of the things that Bob gave me while I was down there was a little movie light. I don't think this comes with the DJI kit, but it nevertheless is a very bright LED. I'm going to show you that, but I'm not going to shine it at the camera because it would probably totally overexpose it. I'm going to shine it at this wall. Somewhere on here there's a button, and there we are. It dazzles me looking at me. It's a white LED, it's very bright indeed, and it lights up the whole room. However, that's useful if you're just supposed to turn off when you press that. Oh, it's flashing. It's obviously got different modes and now I can't see a thing. A light like this is going to be useful if you just go and interview someone in the dark and you want their face to show up. And a week ago I was filming in Oxton and you couldn't see me at all. Maybe if I'd have given Ruth this light you'd have managed to see me, or just have me blank out extremely white. What you really need for effective lighting for, you know, going out on the street and doing a quick movie is a light that's a little more controllable. Now I'm sure I have one. Oh yes, I have one somewhere. Now this, it's got batteries in the back. It goes on a standard stand if you want to use it on a tripod. It's full of LEDs, and it's got a dimmer on the side. So if I just use this one and gradually fade up the level of that, the batteries are nearly flat. So if I just dim it down, and I can show it to you, that's what it's like. If I turn it up a bit, it might end up being too bright. Yeah. So obviously that's useful. Stick it on a stand, and then I've got the camera in my hand. Well, you don't have to go down to the Derby area to see something quirky. In Hoylake-on-the-Wirral, we've got a quirky cafe, and over the other side of the Mersey in Liverpool, they've got a whole quirky quarter. So this is the only place at the moment I got to film in our flat at Arrow Park. We put up some wallpaper last year, which you've already seen, and it makes me look as though I'm in a forest, sort of. I wonder if it looks any better with some light. No, maybe not. The construction of a studio in an empty building has always been an exciting prospect to me. I wonder if you've seen the new BBC News studio. I believe they built it in the basement of the new broadcasting house, and it's a huge area with lots of bits of screens and architecture dotted around, reminding me of when they showed you the new Doctor Who TARDIS. In fact, maybe the same people that built the new TARDIS for the BBC series has built the new studio. Anyway, I'm not going to be building anything like that in this flat, but I do have some ideas to create facilities for me here, which I'll show you in the months to come. Back in Birkenhead, and the Birkenhead Market we've shown you before is in a state of disrepair, and it's virtually empty these days. I was most disappointed to find that out when I got back to the Wirral a couple of years ago. The new Birkenhead Market, which is being planned, is going to go in this building, a former department store, the House of Fraser, which has been closed for years. The earliest date I've heard for this is 2025, and it will be right on the edge of the precinct here, Grange Precinct in Birkenhead, where the current market is the building with the sloping roof ahead of us there, which is now virtually dead, as I said. Back in October, I was down on a piece of land which lays between the M53 and the Wrexham to Bidston railway line. I was there for about an hour that day, hoping to see a train going along the embankment. I thought that would have made a good video, but one didn't come. So, surprise, surprise, when you're least expecting it, I was taking a bus from Arrow Park into Birkenhead. Bus goes along Woodchurch Road, past Asda, over the motorway. We're heading down towards the Low Bridge, where the line goes over the road, and what did I see out of the corner of my eye up there on the left? Yes, it was one of the Wrexham to Bidston trains, a Class 230. Bells is a place on the Liverpool to West Kirby train line, and if you walk a little bit up the road from the station, you'll see a phone box. There's a little handset on the map which shows where it is, and this phone box is famous. People come from all over the world to visit this and pay homage to OMD. Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark are a Wirral band, and in the early days this was their unofficial office. The song is a little more specific about which phone box because they sing out the phone number of it. 632-3003. This song also serves as a reminder that back in the 80s there weren't really any mobile phones about except for the wealthy, and so this was it. And the band used to meet round this phone box and talk to their manager. Some of the phone boxes you can see in the background in the video are not this actual phone box, they're a different style. But near the end you see the actual phone box and you know it is this one because it closes in on the number on the dial. When I was looking through the videos of their hit singles, I didn't see any widescreen videos, and of course that's the standard we all watch TV with now. Roll forward to 2023, and a few months ago they released a new album, and this time they've gone beyond our TV widescreen to the cinema widescreen format of 21:9.
Anthropocene, the current geological...
Anyway, that brings OMD up to date. Their latest album came out a few months ago, and the video looks ahead to see what the world population's going to be in the future.
0.
Such a cheerful fellow.